Welcome to Unit 3, everybody. We are officially halfway through the course. It's just really went quickly. At least for me it has. I know it probably hasn't for you, but hopefully it's been enjoyable and informative. And that's really what we're after is we want you to learn, but we want you to have fun while you're doing it. And I would never have said before I started my own career in academia, so to speak, that college could be fun, but I hope that we've made it somewhat enjoyable to learn some of the topics that we've discussed. So last week we talked about job analysis and we talked about how to conduct that analysis for a material handling clerk. So we're going to transition a little bit in Unit 3 to recruiting, and you can see the learning objectives here. So we're going to talk a little bit about interviews and the different types, and probably each of you have been through a number of different interviews. Maybe you don't think of it that way. Sometimes promotion boards are a type of interview, even though a lot of people don't realize that it's really an interview where you're not looking for a job per se, but we're evaluating your leadership potential. So things to think about when we're talking about the interviews. We're going to also talk about legal issues associated with selection and hiring. And the government agency, at least at the federal level, that handles that is the Equal Opportunity Employment Commission, or EEOC. And you can go to their website. There's a tool called Selection, and I don't remember the specifics because it's a really long title, Selection Guidelines for Recruiting or something like that. It's worthwhile to take a look at. It's a very in-depth document, so don't plug into that 5 minutes before dinner, or your wife or other significant other will not be happy with you trying to read it, because there's just a lot of information to assimilate there. But bookmark it or plug it away back in your head as a reference later if you're doing recruiting, because some of that will come into play. And then lastly, we're going to talk about multicultural workforce and inclusion and diversity just a little bit. And in doing so, the second discussion question, and I'll see if I can get my computer to scroll down. Yeah, looks like it will. There's actually a Apple video in the above section for resources, but you're going to want to watch that video. Now, it's getting a little dated from when this course was last revised, but it's still pretty applicable. And of course, the discussion prompt is, we're looking at its effectiveness as a recruiting tool. What was appealing about it? Are there any suggestions for improvement? But I will tell you, each class that I've taught in which this video is shown, and there's a couple of them, folks talk about the diversity. They talk about a number of other things, and you can see some of the recommendations here, but diversity is one of the topics that seems to come to the surface. And there's nothing wrong with that, because there's been a number of studies that have shown a diverse workforce is obviously more inclusive because there's other views and things, but two, different people provide different perspectives, different thought processes, different views, different experiences, which really can improve that workforce, and it makes it a lot more fun. I worked at one organization where myself, as the HR director, the CEO, and the CFO were all, as the CEO put it, old white guys. And so there was some concerns about, I was in an interim position, there were some concerns about bringing me on because would it dilute the diversity? Now, when we looked at the rest of the executive team, we were also the only 3 males out of 7. So fully 4 other people were female, and each of those were of a different, we had an American Indian, we had a couple of Hispanic folks, we had another individual that was Caucasian or white, however you like to phrase it. So we did have some diversity on our executive team, both from a gender as well as ethnicity perspective. So And then lastly, we have a written assignment this week. My computer wants to be hopping around. So we're going to talk about an employment law. This is where you get to outline a specific employment law of your choice. We're looking for 1,250 words. Now, here's the caveat. You go over 1,250 words, great. I don't have a problem with that. If you do 1,200 words, I'm okay with that too, as long as you address the information that we're looking for. Now, title and synopsis, title, not so much. The synopsis, great. I don't have a problem with that. But if you're including the title in your 1,250 words, probably not going to cut it. I don't count the words unless there's obvious, if I read that paper and I look at it and go, there's no way that's 1,200 words, and I, do the word count and it's 750, you're probably not going to get a really good score. Not because I'm counting words, I'm looking at content. So, and there is a rubric associated with that, so we'll use that to grade the things of that nature. So look for 3 sources. Make sure you cite them correctly. That's important as well. So we're using APA formatting. And as you can see on there, required word count does not include title and reference pages. And you do not need to do an abstract. So please feel free to plug away and find an employment law that is appealing to you or that you wanted to know more about. It's a good opportunity for you to research things. So, and in addition, we got 2 discussions this week. So, and then you can see the assigned reading and preparation activities. With that, I'm going to close this out, but if you have information that's of value, please feel free to share that with the class, or if you have questions that I can help address, please let me know. I look forward to seeing you in the classroom. Goodbye, everyone.